Yes, it's yours. Okay.
Gosh, you have a wild, rabid dog.
Okay. Okay.
What
Yeah.
were you saying? What were you saying before?
We're talking about those portraits.
Oh yeah, so
Okay.
him and that's Mia on the far right.
Excellent. Okay.
So I was thinking.
I like it when you think.
I was thinking about we should let female comedians rise, you know, and I was thinking what's the difference, what really is different. And I think women aren't funny in the way men are, you know,
It's not the first time I've heard that.
they're disgusting, actually. And that's what's great about it. Because what male symbolizes is the patriarchal, integrated of the symbolic, right? So it's you're integrating the symbolic of the world. But female is the maternal is a pre-symbolic identification. So you identify with your mom before you know what identification means, right? And basically all of these things are in the realm of the abject. So anything that you can't, that's pre-verbal,
Right.
is in the maternal realm in a sense, because basically this philosopher says that anything dealing with bodily functions and excretion and all of these things belong to the maternal order.
And this philosopher is male, female, or
Female.
non-binary?
Female.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Love for you to find her name.
Julia Kristeva. Yeah.
Okay.
But is it true that women can are funnier when they're, because I actually think the very reason people think women aren't funny, I think they're funny because it's that. I think that disgusting part of oh no, a woman can't do that, or a woman can't do this because a woman's supposed to be my mom.
Okay. So, are you presenting an argument or your argument? I'm curious to know. Is this your belief that?
I don't know. I just thought it was interesting.
Okay, so you came here and you said women aren't as funny as men.
No.
But is that Zach's thought, or is that this idea that you want to unpack?
No, it's an idea.
Okay.
It's an idea.
So, it's not the first time I've heard that.
I mean, I love watching Schumer, you know?
Yeah.
I just need to watch her talking about a vagina. I can't get enough of her talking about a vagina.
Okay. So, firstly...
I was being very sincere.
Yeah, I know. Firstly, I think this conversation is raising non-binary voices as well. I think one of the brightest, funniest, sharpest minds, or two of them that three actually, I can think of.
Yeah, but it's
non-binary.
unfair. It's
Mae
unfair.
Martin, let me
They
finish. Mae Martin, Hannah Gadsby, Reese Nicholson.
Oh,
So,
I hate Hannah though.
why?
She's not funny.
Okay.
She's
Firstly-
not. She's trying to be George Carlin, but about herself.
Okay. Firstly, I think we need to change the way that we talk about comedians. Instead of saying she or they are not funny, I don't find them funny, or I don't find that stuff relatable.
No, but she's she's I don't know. It's interesting how she's made it so that comedy can be a space where you can talk about trauma and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But that's what men that's another salacious thing that men say about women comedians is
What
that
do they say?
they trauma dump.
Right.
Yeah.
Tiffany, shush. You're really cramping our style here. They trauma dump, and men find that uncomfortable because
like for a long time, I think in male humor, they were trauma dumping, but they were more obscuring it, you know?
Yeah, so when I used to frequent open mics and comedy nights and whatever, which were male dominated, I noticed that what I saw a lot of was men talking about their big night stories, what they did when they were drunk and how funny that was, which in a way is just trauma dumping, but a different kind. It's like, well, this is what we did to mask, or this is what we did to not want to go there, but it comes out as this is what we did, this is our larrikin behavior. So it's all a distraction, a distraction from the trauma.
Yeah.
Men let's not talk in broad strokes, men can find it deeply uncomfortable.
But then also like non-binary comedians should have it easier. Like it should be like more, not easier, but like it's like, all right, we can get to the real topics. This guy's not gonna fucking talk about what it means to be a bloke or how it feels being a woman. They're just gonna talk about the comedy. Great. I mean, that's what I love. I mean, imagine
so you use like a different portal to talking about something beyond gender. Do you mean?
Yeah. Well, also the fact that like it's not gonna talk about gender.
They might talk about their experience having been presenting as more masculine or more feminine, and
that's
how
not funny
to you.
Yeah.
I don't find that funny. Let's practice saying that.
Yeah, but like
because it's not your experience.
True. But what I'm saying is that they should have like a easy go, because they're like in between the pre-symbolic comedy and the post-symbolic comedy, you know, like the masculine and the feminine. So like they're like in between the states, so they'd have like a very interesting comedy, I feel.
Okay, so they've got a different take, but that doesn't mean it's easier for them. I think it might be more challenging in the sense that one of the challenges of being a comedian is you want to get the audience on your side, and you get the audience on your side. It's much easier to get audience members on your side if they find you relatable. Now, the majority of people are not... Okay. The majority of people out there are not non-binary, so that's a challenge. It's like, how do you relate to my experience when my experience is so different to yours? Can I ask you something?
But I think I could relate to a lot of non-binaries. I mean, a lot of them are like, I think they're overrepresented in the nerd category. I've met a lot of non-binary mathematicians. A lot of them like anime, you know, so it's like I can relate to them.
Did you meet them at a meetup for mathematicians? Or is... I'm just seeing you be like going to a meetup for mathematicians, anime, and then just happening to find a lot of queer folk there, or is this just random? Are you just...
No, it's my my cousin's cousin, mathematics professor, not professor but teacher, and he has a few. There's quite a few non-binary trans folk in the math higher research.
Wow.
Yeah. Doing PhDs and stuff.
That's unexpected. My preconception is that there'd be lots in the, from my own experience, is in the arts community.
Yeah, but it's not so. It's just
I like to hear it.
Yeah.
I like queer folks in maths and STEM.
Yeah, but I mean, like I like to think about people's brains. I don't like to think like I'm being prejudiced for thinking in a certain way about how people think, Because that's how I learn about the world, is I like try to figure out how people think.
I don't think you are prejudiced. From I've known you.
Oh no, I am.
Okay.
Indians.
Hold that thought.
Uh-huh.
We're all prejudiced. We all have prejudices, right? It's natural. We're human beings.
I was joking, so you're actually prejudiced.
Okay.
Okay, I'm joking.
But from what I know about you, having known you a long time, is that you can acknowledge your prejudice and you can challenge it, and you're deeply curious about people and the way that their brains work. And I think that's one of the gifts that you have as a person, as a neurodivergent person as well. I think that's
but then
a superpower.
well, I just said
of
that because I wanted to say in a non-stigmatizing way, more in a way like, oh, I'm interested in that.
Okay.
Is like the way some non-binary minds work. It's kind of similar to my mind. In that,
there's a Venn diagram overlap with neurodivergent and queer. Like there's
yeah. So what I'm saying is like it should be an interesting thing that a majority of non-binary people might be autistic. That should be interesting. It shouldn't be stigmatizing. You know?
You're curious to know if that's a fact?
No, I think it is a fact.
Based on what?
Well, there's a huge overlap.
Based on...
What do you mean?
Is any science or just your personal, just anecdotal?
I don't know. I just think like when you're autistic, you don't really... You really examine labels. And if you are autistic and you're like, I'm doing all of these things that other guys aren't doing, and I'm not doing what other guys are doing. Therefore, like, I feel confused in that, like, that. But then the autistic part takes it further from confusion and says, like, but I don't need to be confused because gender's just a label and it's
a construct.
Arbitrary. Yeah, so
it's fluid.
I think that's a good thing.
Okay. Maybe what's worth examining, and I don't think we'll have the answers now. I think this kind of study and research will have to take place over years and years and years. What you're asking is, are the majority of autistic people genderqueer, or are the majority of genderqueer people autistic? That's two different things.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think it's probably.
What's your hypothesis?
It's the second one.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
Can I ask you something?
What?
Because a lot of the stuff that you often, the ideas that you bring to me, I don't always understand because it's on like a different level of intellectuality. I don't even know if that's a word. I wonder, I've been thinking, what if there was a comedy night where all the comedians were neurodivergent and all the audience members were neurodivergent, like you had to be neurodivergent. I know there's like ethical issues with how do I prove that, whatever. This is just an imaginary thing. And there were non-divergent people like sitting in the back. What's the word for if you're so it's atypical and neurotypical people sitting in the back. I wonder if, and I'm assuming that there would be this whole world of comedy that is really, really funny to the neurodivergent people who would get it, and the neurotypical people at the back just wouldn't.
I don't know, because I think majority of comedy is neurodivergent. Like, Jerry Seinfeld said he was autistic.
When?
Larry David's autistic.
Larry David's definitely on the spectrum, but Jerry Seinfeld has said it?
Yeah.
Where?
Yeah,
in an interview? Yeah. Find it for me.
I'll find it.
He has said, I am autistic, or I think I'm autistic.
He said, I think I'm autistic, or I'm autistic. I'll check.
Okay. Do you want to stop recording while you do this?
No.
You wanna
I'll
keep
do it.
rolling?
I'll keep rolling.
Okay.
Yeah. In 2014, he said in an interview, he believed he was somewhere on the autism spectrum.
And he says he got a lot of flack for it.
Oh.
Then I don't have autism, Seinfeld told Access Hollywood. I'm not on the spectrum.
I don't know.
I saw this,
But I feel like all of his like skits are about something an autistic person would be irritated about or interested in. Like they're often.
yeah,
Yeah.
analysing things that...
Yeah. Where's my cup?
So you enjoy listening to Amy Schumer talk about her vagina?
She's so funny and
She's
so
really
smart.
funny. Do you know who's... Okay, two female comedians who are not only genius, but they work so hard. Have you watched Taylor Tomlinson's Netflix specials?
Mm-hmm.
You have to.
Mm-hmm.
She's bipolar.
Yeah.
She is gorgeous. She is so funny. She works really hard. That's number one. Number two, Nikki Glazer.
Oh yeah, she's funny.
She is
Are you jelly?
not at all.
Cause she reminds me of you a bit.
Which one?
Nikki Glazer.
Really? Why?
Oh no, I'm thinking about the other one. Who's the one from Broad
City, Ilana Glazer.
Ilana Glazer.
Yeah. Her Netflix special I didn't think was...
No,
it was
she's
a bit...
not really funny.
She's funny on Broad City, but...
She's funny personality, but she's not very...
This is what I felt watching her Netflix special. She was disconnected from the audience. She wasn't in conversation with them. She was there and she was verbal diarrheaing her set, and she wasn't like in flow.
Yeah.
And she speaks a lot about her kids, and this is just my personal thing. I personally don't find comedy about people's kids funny. And I know that is... No, I know that that's ironic because sometimes I have little tidbits on Instagram and TikTok about my kids, but that's because other people are getting the feedback that they like that. They like hearing those little things. But I personally don't. Every time someone says to me, can I tell you about the dream I had? I'm like, oh no. Or can I tell you something funny that my kid did? I'm like, oh no. Or can I show you photos from my trip? I'm like, no. How bad is that? When have you ever enjoyed seeing photos from someone else's holiday?
Oh my god. I know. I hate it. I hate it. I don't
want to see it.
I don't want to see it.
Yeah.
No.
If someone wants to tell me about like an issue they're having with like their irritable bowel syndrome, I'm there.
Or what about those guys at parties that went to India for a month and then have to tell them that, like a story, you know?
About their experience on the ashram?
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
I'm out. I'm unsubscribed.
Oh, wow, I didn't know this party turned into a podcast.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
What stories are you always there for from other people? You're like, yeah, I want to hear about it.
Nothing.
You're so curious about other people. Come on.
I don't know.
What's a topic that you will always be interested in?
Naruto. Dragon Ball Z.
Really?
Yeah, Dragon Ball Z.
Okay.
We'll talk about that.
You'll talk about that?
Yeah.
To anyone?
Yeah.
Okay. What about someone wants to tell you about their relationship problems? Are you there for that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun.
I love that shit.
I like, I'm there when someone starts believing that people are spying on them, you know?
So paranoia?
Yeah.
You're there for that?
Yeah.
That's brilliant. How often does that happen?
What?
That people want to tell you? Not often enough.
Not often enough. No. And they don't get enough psychotic people into therapy. Be nice. I'd love to do, like, learn how to do therapy. Therapize.
Oh.
Yeah. I think also, like, I could cultivate a brand of therapy where it's like people are coming to me for my brain. So like they're interested in what my brain has to say about something. So it's instead of like having someone, it's different because like people usually want someone that they can like hold and tight and like feel secure, but it's like for me it's more like I noticed that in the past people have gotten a kick out of hearing things that come out of my brain. Like in rehab, for example, people didn't have drugs, so then I was telling them my ideas and they were like captivated because there wasn't anything else to like entertain them.
Because you can give a really different perspective. When I was in my early 20s, a friend of mine was organising a market, so Coogee Markets, and he needed more stalls. And he said, do I have anything to sell? And I was like, nothing except my opinions. So I set up, so fucking narcissistic.
What?
I set up a stall.
Yeah.
And I said, give me $2 and I'll give you my opinion on something.
That's a great idea.
So you could do that. You could say, I'm neurodivergent. I can give you an interesting perspective on something for money. You could have a little square payment system because people don't have cash anymore.
But I was also seeing I've been watching this guy, Jesse Lee Peterson. He's like this black guy who actually, he grew up on a plantation. And he loves white people. And he thought like it was better on the plantation. And he says, can you please slow down for me? I'm black and slow. Please
Hang on.
Hang on, I'm black and slow.
Is he a comedian?
He's so funny.
But who is
but
this
it's
guy?
like he's sincere.
Who is he, Zach?
He's like a YouTuber that's like a Christian type YouTuber that like he has Oedipal issues himself around his father, so his like I love hearing him talk about his Oedipal, like because you could tell he's gay as well, but he's very homophobic, and like his gayness is so transparent because he tells a story about how he man hates his mother because his mom didn't let him be around his dad.
Okay, we're going to stop this recording. You're going to find a video of him and you're going to do a reaction video to him.
Okay.
Okay? Go.